Hi guys, the question should not be who's running to be the next leader of the Conservative Party, but instead, who isn't running? Because the former Secretary of State for the DWP, Mel Stride, has thrown his hat into the ring. So the MP with the majority of 61, yeah, you heard that right, believes he has what it takes to lead the Conservatives to a future victory. I would imagine he would present himself as something of a moderate in contrast to Kemi Badenoch, perhaps. Don't say the Tories aren't entertaining.
I don't know. Probably a reasonable chance, but let's see where we go.
What do we say?
Well, I can't pin a precise number on it.
You want to be the leader, don't you?
Well, there's a lot to say. What I want is my party
I have
to
it on good
recover
authority
because
that you're
it's
going to
important.
run.
Because it's important for the country that we have a strong Conservative Party. We've just witnessed a terrible result, clearly. Just as Labour did, in fact, in 2019, and yet came back in the period of 5 years. Now, if we unite as a party in Parliament, and more broadly, and we get the right prospectus together, and we demonstrate that in opposition we can be that steady, calm, reliable, conservative party that people are used to, then we can make real progress. And that's what I want. And whoever it is that leads us...
Under your stewardship.
Whoever it is that leads us, I will want to be part of that process because I care about my party and I care greatly about my country.
Suella Braverman says that you need to move closer towards reform.
So we definitely need to appeal to people who have gone to reform, as we need to appeal to those who stayed at home and didn't come out and vote to us, as we need to appeal to those that we lost to both the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats. And what we now need to go through is that process of identifying the right policy offer. But it's got to be backed up by demonstrating steady competence in opposition as a responsible opposition, not jumping on everything that the government does that could be arguably deemed to be wrong, but really picking our targets and showing that we can hold this government to account through time.
Are you one of those centrist cranks that Suella Braverman's been talking about?
I'm one of those people who believes that there is a policy offer that we can make to the British people that is both deliverable but also can be popular. I think these notions of left and right are rather misplaced in this particular discussion because I think there is a common ground which takes in perhaps some of the views of the right wing of the Conservative Party, particularly around migration, the importance of getting on top of illegal migration, getting taxes lower. These are not just things that preserve one particular wing of the Conservative Party. They are things that the British people cares passionately about. But they also want an inclusive, broad church of a party that shows compassion, that looks after the most vulnerable. And when I was running DWP, one of the things that I was very firm about was that we should do just that. But we should do it.
What the hell is he talking about? Okay. I had to cut it off here because he's just tripe upon tripe. Like, he says it's important for the country to have a strong Conservative Party. Why? The sense of entitlement here. The country needs a Conservative Party. No, it needs a strong opposition. That opposition could be the Liberal Democrats, it could be the Greens, it could be any other party. Why should it be the Conservative Party? You were kicked out because you didn't do anything for the British people. He also says that going forward, the Conservatives need to be a calm, reliable party. Well, good luck with that, because you dabbled in populism with Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, and the person leading to replace Rishi Sunak is Kemi Badenoch, another populist. Now, you hear this a lot, and you're going to hear this a lot in the future. We need to appeal to Reform voters, but we also need to appeal to Labour and Liberal Democrat voters. Well, you have to pick a side, because you're talking about extremes here. Liberal Democrats generally are not going to entertain the idea of Reform UK policies, and Reform UK voters are not going to entertain Liberal Democrat policies. So you're going to have to pick a side. The Conservatives recently have picked a side, and that was Reform UK. Let's chase Reform UK. Let's focus entirely on immigration. Let's throw money at the problem. Let's spend as much political capital as possible chasing Nigel Farage. And they lost, because you'll never out-racist the racists. You'll never out-far-right the far-right. It was an insane policy. Let's try and be more aggressive on immigration than Reform UK, because Reform UK are never going to be in power for the foreseeable future anyway. They're not going to be in power for the foreseeable future. So it's easy for them to sit on the sidelines and say, we will bring immigration down to zero. We will bring NHS waiting lists down to zero. We will do everything. We will promise people the sun, moon and stars, because they know they'll never have to deliver that. But if you're a party in government and you're trying to outdo the Reform UK party, you're going to fail. So you can't appeal to both Liberal Democrats, Labour and Reform UK. You have to pick a side. If you move to the centre, there's a real possibility that you'll win back seats. You have to abandon this idea that you can out-reform UK, Reform UK. You can't. Now, it's going to be entertaining because you're going to have the centrists of the Conservative Party arguing with the right wing, and the right wing saying, well, you know, we tried your candidate, Rishi Sunak, and it failed. But of course, the centrists will say, no, it wasn't Rishi Sunak's fault. It was because of what came before. So you're going to see a lot of infighting, and frankly, it's going to be entertaining. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.